Have you ever been so busy that you couldn't focus? And I'm going to guess if you have ever been so busy that you couldn't focus, at some point you realized you were so busy, you also couldn't get anything finished. I'm Sarah Olivieri, and I come to you every week right after my Thrive coaching call. That is my coaching call with my nonprofit CEOs who are facing the problems that most nonprofit executive directors and CEOs are facing, as well as most for-profit business leaders are facing. And overwhelm and being overly busy is certainly one of those things. I remember when I first tackled this problem for myself. I was recently divorced. I had a 3-year-old son. I was running 2 businesses, and I was in the process of moving back into my old place, which meant living in a bunch of temporary places while between parenting and working and running a business, I would slip off late at night into my old house and do renovations until 2:00 in the morning so that I could move back into it with my son. And in fact, I remember at some point, I didn't realize my son knew. I didn't think he knew that I was doing this, but he started to get worried that I was going to move without him. And so he and I moved into the half-finished space while I continued to finish it off. And it was in that time that I realized if I allowed myself to be so busy that I couldn't focus, I wasn't going to get what I needed to done. And I was pretty much at the bottom. I didn't have any savings. I didn't have any money. I had one business that was making a little bit of money and another business that was losing money rapidly. And I had a 3-year-old son. And so there was like no room for mistake. There was no room for freezing. There was no time for getting overwhelmed and having a panic attack. And I realized this and I said, Sarah, we have got to make sure that we are focused. Focused and busy works. So what did I do? I did a number of things. I started a daily routine to help me stay focused. I had, I forget what I called it. I did the 7-minute workout on my phone. You can look it up. I think there's a bunch of versions. And I did 12 minutes of meditating. I had an app that was like meditate for 12 minutes a day, but 10 minutes or even 8 minutes works. I meditated while my 3-year-old sat in my lap and watched cartoons because that was the only way I could get the time in. But let me tell you, that's good training for meditation. But meditation, so the exercise and the meditation help you regulate your body and your mind. They both do both. And that's really key to being able to focus. If your body is dysregulated, if your brain is dysregulated, you're not going to be able to focus. And then I would take a very short shower. Any of you who are parents and have been watching your young child while you need to take a shower know that that time is very, very limited. So in about 20 minutes, I was able to exercise my body, strengthen my brain, and get a shower, which I think does the same things as exercise and meditation. And it's important to have that little bit of me time every day. And there's something good about the water and something about grounding electricity. So there is my 20-minute routine to get your body in line so that your body is prepared to focus. And it sets your brain up to be able to focus. But setting your brain up is only half the battle. So let's talk about part 2. Once your body is primed, that your body is regulated and your brain is primed to focus, meaning it stopped running in a million directions, it's time to get really, really specific with your brain to think about, what am I doing that I don't need to be doing? How could I make if you're on a critical deadline, then be thinking about how can I make this deadline less critical, meaning I could complete it at a different time and it wouldn't matter, right? What can I change to make the deadline? Or what can I do if there is absolutely no way I can figure out to change that deadline or the nature of the deadline? Well, what can I do to change what is actually getting done by the deadline. This one's actually often easier to accomplish. Often we have told ourselves we have to do these 50 things for done to be done to meet the deadline. But if you really are careful when you go through them, and especially if you bring in a partner to help kind of BS your list, you will probably realize that there are probably 20% of the things on that list, and I'm guessing 20% because of the 80-20 rule, 20% of the things on your list actually need to be done for it to be sufficiently done. And the other 80% of your list probably does not need to be done. You're probably just putting pressure on yourself to do it, but it's not actually going to get a better result by getting all those extra things done. Or maybe it would be a little better, but highly diminishing returns. So it's really, really important to not get so busy that you can't focus. So how do we do this? Again, we prep our mind and body so that our body is not distracting us. We prep our mind so that we can focus for the few minutes it takes us to essentially prioritize and eliminate, right? We talk about prioritizing, we often think about, right, we're putting the most important things on the top. But the true secret to prioritizing is when you do the most important things first, the things that are less important often disappear, right? So the true purpose of prioritizing is actually to make the list shorter, not just put the long list in order. Because if you're like, if I have to do everything anyway, what does it matter prioritizing it? Well, it matters because it's actually going to cause you to end up doing less. Specifically, it's going to cause you to do the 20% of things that matter most, and then realize, you know what, it's done, and I'm going to skip the other 80%. And now I am out of the cycle of being overly busy and thus unfocused, which leads to total lack of productivity. And we don't want to be that. We want to be unbusy, highly focused, and extremely productive so that we can have our cake and eat it too. If you would like to get more tips like these in your email box, inbox, whatever they call that box, on your screen, on your phone, right? Oh, your email inbox. I don't have my phone. It could literally be your phone. I digress. Go to pivotground.com/sign up. Or if you'd like to be in the room, if you're a nonprofit executive director or CEO listening to this right now and you're thinking, I'm so busy, I can't focus, and I need somebody to help me figure out what to do and help guide me into that place where I am having my cake and eating it too. And so is all of my staff who are probably suffering in similar ways. Then I highly encourage you to apply for the Thrive program at pivotground.com/apply or any of the programs at PivotGround. We will review your application. It's a very short application. There's no cost to apply, and make sure that you are the right fit and are going to get the right kind of benefit that you need so that you're not wasting your time and getting so busy you can't focus. And once again, I'm Sarah Olivieri, and I will see you next time.